Hey guys, what's up? It's me, the Ukebox, and today we'll be talking about OddTaxi. If you guys haven't seen OddTaxi, the anime, please stop this video and go check it out before you come back and listen to the review. So anyway, OddTaxi, I watched it on Crunchyroll, and it is about a walrus taxi driver, or a taxi driver which is a walrus. And the name is Orakawa, Hiroshi Orakawa. And what's funny about this character is that he's pretty much like a deadpan-faced kind of person. He keeps it, 100, doesn't really like go off the rails on who he is as a person. He just kind of stays in his lane, in a sense, and while he's driving as well. Anyway, so we start off with him at the doctor's trying to figure out why he can't go to sleep. All the while, the news is reporting there's a missing kid. And for some odd reason, his taxi is the reason why this kid is missing, or at least he has on video the reason why this kid is missing. So there's so many different types of characters. And in his taxi, he's also listening to like a podcast called The Homo Sapiens, which is I believe a giraffe and a warthog comedic duo. And yeah, he just listens to him on his drives and all that good stuff. He meets a young kid who he wants to be viral. He wants to do he wants to get out there and be like an influencer. And, and he's asking Orakawa like, yo, I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to, go viral. And Orakawa's like, what's that? Or is that a good thing? Does that pay well? Stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like things that people don't know or necessarily, know about. Not a lot of people his age know about what's going viral and all that stuff. I believe he's like about 40 years old, 40 plus. And yeah, so it kind of shows his age too, and shows the difference between, or there's a big age gap between these characters. And there's even a female nurse who, I don't know if you guys ever seen any of the clips. Probably you've seen them on like YouTube or TikTok or whatever, but there is a female alpaca that goes into the taxi and kind of like flirts with him. And there's an age gap in there. At least you learn that there's an age gap between the two. And I think that's kind of cute how they played that off. How, he's a warthog, she's an alpaca, but she's an alpaca that's interested in a werewolf, in a walrus. And you're just like, this is not weird, is it? But anyway, that the characters and the age gap between Orakawa is actually pretty intriguing, because you don't really see those kind of interactions anymore, at least not in public, because everybody's trying to be politically correct and whatnot. Then you have other characters like police officers. There's like twin brothers who are police officers, and it took me a while to actually know who the younger brother was, because I'm like, they are drawn the same. Twins are drawn the same in any kind of anime or, cartoon or anything like that. And so when I was looking at it, I was like, wait, is the one with the glasses the older brother or the younger brother? Wait, is the one without the glasses the older brother, or hold on, who's who? And I know they're the Damon brothers. There's I think it's Damon brothers. Yeah. Like Big Damon and Little Damon. I was like, why would you name them that? Why didn't anybody give them like a different color nose or something like that? You know what I mean? But no, they both had to be police. Anyway, that was probably one of the more confusing parts of the show. So the real plot is this missing girl was in his car, and this criminal is out there somewhere, like he's just a big baddie. And this big baddie found out that this taxi driver has a dash cam with like proof that the missing child was in his taxi. Now what makes this even more intriguing is in his house, there's a scene in his house that he's talking to someone in his house, and he's all like, hey, you can leave, literally giving that entire, I guess, scene like, oh yeah, someone's in there, probably the little girl, he's probably hiding her out or something like that, because that dude could care less if she was in the house or not. However, it seems like he's more human than we think. Because he kind of does come off a little creepy, I guess, in a way. Anyway, so this baddie or whatever that seems to be all over the news as well as a suspect for, kidnapping this girl, he apparently finds Otokawa in the long run and says, yo, I need your dash cam or I'm gonna kill you, this and that, whatever. And you're just like, okay, this guy is a baddie. All right. Okay. Then later on, he finds out there's another person looking for the dash cam data. And it is a manager of an idol group, and an idol group full of just 3 girls. I think they're about 15, 16 years old, and they're idols, and he's their manager, and he's asking for the dash cam. So immediately I'm thinking, oh, then the girl that's missing has to be a part of this group, or maybe was a part of this group. Who knows? So as I'm putting these things together, the whole structure of what's going around Otokawa, you find out that the manager of the idol group works for another baddie. And what's funny about this baddie is that he only talks while he's rapping, or he raps while he talks. He's like, yo, I'm not gonna do it. But he has a rhythm behind his talk, a rhythmic melody. And, he's always talking about what's going to happen. Should a plan fail, or should a plan work flawlessly? It's just all in just a rhythmic kind of pattern. And his name was Yano. That was his name. The first baddie's name is Dobu. And Dobu was a chimpanzee. And I believe Yano, I think he was like what is that? The trash pandas? A raccoon? I think he was a raccoon. And they are both baddies. However, they're under the same umbrella. They work for the same boss. And and the boss's daughter is the missing kid. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, so now I know why they all work together, because they're a part of the same group. Yano and Dobu, however, are rivals within the organization. So yeah, and then all of a sudden they're just pushing Otokawa around, and he doesn't know how to do anything. But Otokawa isn't that dumb, and he is actually pretty clever. However, as everything is unfolding, he had a random mishap because he almost hit someone on the road, and that someone apparently had his own episode. And it was basically about him being a kid that was kind of left out and didn't like the fact that he was left out. But he wasn't alone. There was another guy that was also left out. And he was like, yeah, I didn't like that other guy because, he got the limelight, and I didn't like that and didn't appreciate that. And so I hated him for it. And I'm just like, okay, all right, weird. And then so he decides to get this eraser because everybody thought that the eraser that he got, which was rare or whatever, was dope. So he tried to find one because there was one on auction for 100 yen. So he sneaks his pop's credit card to try to buy this other rare eraser, ends up using 100,000 yen because the price went and jacked up. And he thought, no, there's no way he's definitely going to outbid me. He's definitely going to outbid me. He's like, there's no way I'm going to lose this. And he wins the eraser. And he spent 100,000 yen on this. And his dad gave him, oh man, whooped him. Literally hit the door. Crazy. Anyway, so he felt that failure back in the day. Anyway, now when he almost got hit, he had just won something from an app game. He just won this rare character, and he's like, yes. And that's all he needed to win this or whatever. And so the reason why that eraser back when he was a kid jacked up the price, it went so high, was because he was going up against a username called Ditch11 or something like that. And he got whooped by his dad or whatever. 15 years later into the present, he is playing an app game, and he's not number one because there's a guy named Ditch11 as number one. And so he's all like, dude, I hate this guy. I need this character. He gets the character, and he almost gets hit by a car. It gets dropped into the gutter. And then when he tries to retrieve information, it's gone. It's deleted, and he goes insane. Now, when Otokawa first meets Dobu has a gun, but then Dobu hides the gun. And when the guy who just lost the character because of Otokawa's reckless driving, he had like a pet bird that died. And he literally just puts it inside, like, a bag, and he's going to bury it or whatever. And he finds the gun. He goes nuts, and then he's going on some kind of killing spree after Otokawa. Okay. Now we find out that Yano's after Otokawa. Dobu is trying to work with Otokawa, and there's a killer trying to get him, or a dude that's going crazy over an app game. And I'm just like, how are you just going through all of this stuff? And then there's also like the nurse who works with the doctor. She's an alpaca and all that, and she is actually pretty attractive to him, or I'm sorry, she's attracted to him, to Otokawa. And so she tries to, like woo him in some way. And then later on he finds out that she's actually working with Dobu, and she's making his doctor go bankrupt. So he's like, oh yeah, you know what? Don't talk to me. And literally gave her the cold shoulder, and all of a sudden she's always around, and it's hilarious. And I thought that was a pretty annoying way to get to him, but if she was feeling him, she was feeling him. And I think that it was a good way to kind of like involve this character, because she played a large role in the finale. You find out later that the little brother and the big brother aren't on the same agenda. The little brother is actually still all about justice, and he hates taxi drivers because the twins lost their parents to a taxi driver. Like, I guess it was a hit and run. And so, you find that the little brother doesn't like taxi drivers. Ultimately, he doesn't like Otokawa. So you get to see the interaction between the brothers and him. The older brother, however, works with Dobu. And the little brother always thought, we're going to just take care of the town. We're going to, take down evil. Not realizing that his brother is not on the good side, should I say. I realize that I'm basically kind of just telling the whole story. But there are more stories into it, like with the idol group, as well as there's like a comedic duo with a giraffe and a warthog. And that's kind of a fun story because, you hear their voices the most outside of the main characters because they're always on his radio. Overall, I would like to say that these characters were actually very likable, lovable even, some of them. And what Otokawa does with some of these characters is brilliant. Like what he does with Dobu, how he handles Yano, and how, he also handles his, his caregivers, I guess, because he also lost his parents. And the way that he lost his parents was even crazier. And so this is where, everything kind of just takes the cake, where we find out, I believe at the end of episode 12, beginning of episode 13, his doctor goes far and wide to try to figure out what's going on with Otokawa. Finds out Otokawa had some kind of disease in the head to where he didn't know what he's seeing. So he saw himself as like a walrus. He saw the nurse as an alpaca, the doctor as a gorilla, and all this other stuff. So we, going into the show, believe that they're all animals. And at the end, you find out that actually it's just it's just how he sees the world. And I don't know if you guys remember when I brought up, there was a voice, or I don't even know if I did because I've done this tape so much, but he kept talking to something in his house, and turns out that in the house, it was a cat, but he was in human form when he saw the cat. That must have meant the reason why he didn't go into the room was because it was human in his eyes. Huh? For those who watched it, I don't know if you agree, but that's what I saw. Anyway, for this anime, I'm going to have to give it an A+, because wowie. And the characters was really great. Even the good ones that or the bad ones that kind of good, but not really. You know, they all have some kind of special code, which is cool. I'm cool with it. But this is actually my first review without any, like, I don't know, special things or whatever. I do have my mic going here, so the audio is clean. But yeah, I hope you guys like this review. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitch when I do some gaming. Gonna be probably playing some Tales soon, some Tales series. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Liturgia, Tales of Vesperia. As many Tales games as I can play. I just bought like a pack of 3 Tales games on Steam, and I'm pretty stoked to play them. Also gonna probably be playing like Genshin Impact, Phasmophobia, Raft on most days because Raft is just zen for me. And I recommend OddTaxi for anybody. I would like to send a shout out to my cousin Dustin for actually recommending me this anime. And I will probably be doing reactions to Tokyo Revengers. So please look out for that. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.